Why, hello there. Thank you for clicking on this video. If you're a new viewer, welcome. And if you are a returning viewer, welcome back. This is the final installment in my eyeshadow declutter series, so part 3, but this is also part 2 of my single eyeshadow declutter. And I do a pretty decent job of this one. I do a pretty ruthless declutter, so continue to watch if you want to see that. And apologies that this video took a little longer to upload. The original video was quite long, so I decided to split it into 2 parts, and then editing took a while. And so I apologize for that, but it's finally here. And thank you for those who've supported me and have been watching my videos, liking and commenting and subscribing up to this point. I've really been enjoying this, and it's really been encouraging me to continue to make videos. So please comment, like and subscribe if you like this channel and you like my videos. I would really appreciate it. Let's get into it. Okay, these palettes. Now, I do have some decisions to make here, but first of all, let me show you a palette that I'm not going to get rid of anything from, just so you can see in my collection. These are my multi-chrome and holochrome and special shades. So up at the top are Terra Moon. These are from the brand Bipolar Sparkle. These are holochromes. These are Cleona, and then these are Odin's Eye. They're duochromes and multi-chromes. I can do, if you're interested, I can do a separate video and like a swatch party with these, but I am keeping all of these. The Odin's Eye multi-chromes were a bit disappointing to me. They're sort of messy to work with. I don't like the formula, and I don't find the shifts anything special. In fact, my favorite out of all of these is the duochrome called Kevin. And actually, I might swatch Kevin for you because I just think this is such a special shade. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see, but it's like a brighter green that sort of shifts to a darker green, but there's also like purple or pink shimmer in there. That is just the most gorgeous color. Hopefully you can see that. So that is my favorite out of all of them. Not sure how I feel about my Cleona ones. For the price, they were extremely pricey. They're quite messy to work with, and I'm not sure that the shift in them is anything special compared to my other sort of multi-chromes now that I get in my palettes. So for the time being, I'm not investing in any more Cleona. Like I said, they were expensive, and shipping to Australia is expensive, so they were quite an investment. These 2 palettes. This one is mostly Sydney Grace. 5 or 6 years ago, I was like on a makeup low buy for the purpose of actually buying eyeshadows from Sydney Grace in their July sales. They have really good July sales. I think they still do them much better than their any other sale throughout the year. And so all of these eyeshadows, I think I bought 2 bundles and a couple of single eyeshadows. So ignore the first row. So this row, this row, and this row are all Sydney Grace. I want to use these more. I love the Sydney Grace formula is amazing. Their matte formula is really good. Their shimmer formulas, they're like the foil metallic shimmers. That's the texture that you get. And with that texture, they do really well. So you can't go wrong if that's what you're looking for. These top ones here, however, I think I can do something about. So these 2 are, yes, you can, hang on, let me move this up. These 2 are MAC Powder Kiss matte formulas, matte eyeshadows. My sister gave these to me. This one is in Uninterrupted, and this one is in Ripened. These are really good shadows. I really like them. I have used them both a few times, and I'm going to keep those. This one is a Makeup Geek in Beaches and Cream. Whoops. It's actually like a satin beige. Or is this the matte one? I had another one. Anyway, I use this to clean up under the eyebrow. So I'm going to keep that one as well. Now, I kept this because this is Colourpop Formation. It's a very unique color to my collection. Like, I don't have this color anywhere else in my collection. So I am going to keep that. Now, these 3 yellows, I believe, were all from, no, this is Take Flight from Colourpop. This is Sunbeam from Coastal Scents. And this is Bright Yellow from Coastal Scents. These are not like very good yellows. They're not that pigmented. The Colourpop one isn't that pigmented. They don't show up very well on the eye. So as much as I like a yellow in the inner corner, these just look too powdery and not bright enough in the inner corner for me anyway. So I am going to get rid of these ones, and I think I'm just gonna put them in this palette. I mean, I doubt anyone will want these, but I'll put them in there for now. And this palette is like a random mishmash of all my various different shimmers. These were depotted from Juvia's Place palettes. This one was depotted from a Juvia's Place palette. In fact, I'm going to get rid of that one. I kept it because it's actually pretty unique, bright green in my collection, but I never reached for it. From the time I've depotted these, I have not reached for them. So, and this is not a nice formula. Like it's very heavy. I don't know if you can see. It's very heavy and greasy feeling. Like you have to really press to smooth it out, and I'm certainly not gonna press that hard on my eyelid. So this is gonna go. These are ColourPop. There's a couple of MACs in there, Makeup Geek, ColourPop, ColourPop. Am I gonna use all of these? I think I need to swatch them. So let me just, these are also two Juvia's Place ones. I think this is a really special shade from memory. They're not swatching the best. I mean, that's just a gorgeous peach with, it's got silver sparkles in it, but it's a very brightening shade. So every time I swatch them, I'm like, oh my God, so pretty. And this is like a pinky purple with like a bluey green shift. Hopefully that is sort of coming through there. So I'm going to keep both of those because they are quite pretty, and I have used them on the eyelid. Like I do remember about those two. These are Glaminatrix singles from a while ago. I repressed these. They were so messy. They just continued to make a mess in my palettes. This one's called Bonnet. I don't know if they sell these anymore. And this one's called Bunny. Bonnet is like a lavender with a gold flip. Very pretty shade. And Bunny is like a mint with a gold flip. This is back when I didn't have that many duochromes in my collection, and I sort of saw these and I was like, oh wow, I have to have them. But I never reached for them, and I'm going to keep them for now. And I think though, if I don't use them in 2025 or even think about them, I think it will be time to let them go. This was actually a highlighter from Glaminatrix Cosmetics. Again, had to press it in because it was just so loosely pressed. Scarlet. In fact, I don't even know how they made it to me without being damaged. That's how loose and flaky they were. And this is like a really pretty champagne with like a peach flip. Very pretty as a highlight. Also nice as an eyeshadow. So I'm going to keep that. Let me get the MAC and the Makeup Geek out of here first. Woodwinked was like just a classic eyeshadow. This is a classic one and done. The type of shade that the more you blend it out in the crease, you get like a warm satin brown, and like then the shimmer on the lid. So it really does look like you have more than one eyeshadow on the lid. This was like my favorite Makeup Geek, the old Makeup Geek Homecoming. I still wear this, and it's always just like it's a standard shimmer. Maybe it's something about the tone and my skin tone, the shade on my skin tone, but it just really suits me. So I keep it because I really like wearing it. This one is MAC Retrospec. This is not good. I don't know why I've kept it. Like it's dry. It was always that way. It's not like it's dried out over time. It just wasn't a good eyeshadow to begin with. And I never wear this. This is actually just going to get thrown away. This one is ColourPop. Now, ColourPops, I was going to wait. So let's just push all the ColourPops down. Some of these are ColourPops as well. This red one is actually Sydney Grace. I am going to put it back in that palette now. That palette has room. This was Queen of Hearts. This was like my only red eyeshadow at the time. I bought it because I didn't have any other red eyeshadows. And just look at how pretty this is. This is just so pretty. I am going to keep that. This got ColourPop. That's Misty ColourPop. That's ColourPop, I believe. Yes. And this is also ColourPop, I believe. Yes. These two, I don't even know where they were from. They're from like a random palette. And I keep them because I love the tones. I mean, look at this coppery shade. Just gorgeous. And then this is like a rosy brown. It does have sparkles in it. It sort of translates a little satin on the eye, but it's just such a creamy, nice shade to wear. And I did get rid of that Inglot one that was very similar, so minus the sparkles. So I think I will keep this for now. And this random one, I mean, all the other ones were really light. Even in the Natasha Denona palette, I don't think I have anything quite like this. Let me put that aside for now. I never remember to reach for that one, even though it's so pretty. Let's go quickly through these ColourPop ones. Mostest. I mean, this is such a unique eyeshadow, but it just doesn't look good on the eye. You can see how powdery it is, and I just don't wear it, so that's going to be thrown away. And it came like that. It's not like these are a few years old at this point. I did like a BYOP from ColourPop. That's where this palette also came from. It was a BYOP, and I think I bought a few additional singles. Very pretty eggplant purple, but it's Paradiso. Will I wear it? I feel like no, I never even think of it. And honestly, like I'm not likely to reach into that to wear it, so I am gonna just put it aside in that palette. It goes well with that matte. I think that's why I bought them as well. It goes well with these mattes that I had from ColourPop in this palette, but I don't reach for them. So this was Heavenly, this like shimmery mint. Do I have something like this in my collection? I think I looked and I didn't. And even in the Sydney Grace, I don't have anything quite like that. There is like a darker green. Yeah, it's much darker. So Heavenly, will I? And compared to the Glaminatrix, like that gold sheen really does give a different effect. I'm going to put that aside as well. I don't know. Thank you. Next. Very pretty. Like you can see how bright and pretty that is. More of an orangey copper. Oh, I don't know. Do I ever reach for this though? No. And I feel like I have the Natasha Denona bronze palette, and there's so many shades like that in here. Although I think that I'm not a big fan of the ColourPop formula, but I actually think the formula in this one's quite nice. But I think I am going to get rid of that one. This was Baby Lights. It's very similar to that shade Moonwalk that I swatched. Pretty much exactly the same in eyeshadow form. I mean, I don't need it. That's not a unique eyeshadow to my collection. I have ones like it. I think I was going to say similar ones in the Sydney Grace, but not quite. The Sydney Grace ones are different tones, but that one's going to go. This one's called Glass Bull. And I mean, at the time, these sorts of duochromes were so hard to come by. Another one of those blue-brown pigments with slightly sort of cooler shift. I don't need it. I have so many shades like that. Gosh, I am being cutthroat. Good. Because I've kept these for so long because they're so pretty. But I mean, I just don't reach for them. Another sort of, what is this? This is Misty. Was it different to this one? I feel like it was. Yeah, this one. Oh, they're so similar though. This one's slightly darker, maybe slightly warmer. And it's not like I reach for either of them. That one's got slightly more pink in it. Oh, now, do I have anything like Misty in my collection? All right, I'm putting that aside. I'm kind of getting stuck on some of these shades, even though, like I said, I hadn't sort of reached for anything in this palette for a long time. This one is, what are you called? Mr. Sandman. So pretty, but I just feel like I have shades like that just across my collection. I don't think that's unique enough to keep. Earthshine. This one's feeling like it's got a little bit of hard pan in it. Very gorgeous, you can see, but no. Like, I have so many multi-chromes and pretty shimmer shadows that I would never reach in for that one. And then this one, I know I'm gonna get rid of Now and Zen. It's like a iridescent shade with like a very strong gold flip. I don't need it. I have other things in my collection that I would use instead of that one. Ooh, this palette is kind of full now, and I have more that I want to get rid of, I think. Okay, all that's left are these sort of shades. I think most of these are from Coastal Scents. And I'm thinking I'm going to get rid of almost all of these. So this one's kiwi green. It's like an olive green. I don't need it. I have other greens. This is wizardry. I don't need it. It's like a satin. These are not very strong shimmers. It's like, I guess you'd call them a satin these days. And this one's like a slightly deeper green. I'm not gonna wear that. This is Viridian green. Not gonna wear that. Very pretty greens, but evergreen. I mean, in case you're wondering, maybe I should. I mean, because you can't even get coastal scents anymore, but like they're very soft shades. Ever so slight sheen on them. This one was Bassline. Oh, this is Colourpop. Sorry, this is Colourpop. This I was really excited for because I was like, ooh, a shimmery lavender, but it's a bit powdery. It's not bright enough. It's too powdery. And I have worn it a few times, but I just didn't like the effect on the eye. And it's hard to get pigment out of that. And then this one was Lakeshore. I was quite excited about this one because it's like a darker, murky green with like a gold shift. It's very different to the Glaminatrix one. The Glaminatrix one is a lot lighter mint. But honestly, I never reached for this, and I wore it on the eye a couple of times, and the effect of it is not that great. Like it's quite textured on my eyelids, so I'm getting rid of all of those. And now these I'm gonna keep, I think, Celadon green. It's Coastal Scents because these are like satin shades I can use in the inner corner, and I love using satin shades in the inner corner. This is Pale Pollen. Since I got rid of the other yellows, and this is a really nice satin one, I am gonna keep this. And then this I believe is Makeup Geek, Vanilla Bean, yes. And this is that satin shade I was talking about, like a satin pale beige shade. Just really easy for cleaning up under the brow bone and stuff. So I am going to keep that. Let me quickly count how many I am decluttering.
So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the side here, and then 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41.
41 declutters. Awesome. And I had, what did I say? I had 134. So I have 93 eyeshadows left, single eyeshadow. I am okay with that. I think I did a decent job. And what I'm going to do is just, this is a bigger palette, so I'm hoping I'll be able to fit in these ones that I'm decluttering better in this one so they can all be in one spot. And I'm just going to see if anyone wants these eyeshadows, and if they don't, that's fine. I can throw them away. So let me just rearrange these. Okay, so here is everything that I'm setting aside to see if anyone wants, and this one. And then here's everything that is I'm throwing these away. And I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye. Hello, I'm back. I'm holding my phone, so sorry if it's a bit wobbly. I was just thinking about this, and I was looking at these 3 eyeshadows that I decided to keep. This was like the one that was random. I depotted ages ago. I didn't know which one it was. This was the Colourpop one in Misty, and then this was the Colourpop one in Heavenly. And I was thinking, do I have anything like this in my collection? And I thought of the Solmona 2 palette, so I pulled it out. And if we look at this shade here, I've swatched it against the back of my hand. It's the first one next to my knuckles. And then the next one down is the random shade, and the third one is the Misty shade from Colourpop. These are almost, they're so similar, like, and I would reach for the Odin's Eye over the other two anyway. And so I am going to declutter those two as well. This random one is really old, so I'm just gonna throw that away. And then this one I'll set aside, see if anyone wants it. And then I thought, let me swatch this one as well from Colourpop, called Heavenly, which was that mint with the silver sparkle, which is the second minty shade you see swatched there from my knuckles. The first is actually the shade from the Odin's Eye Solmana 2 palette, that one. And again, they are so similar that if I'm going to reach for a shade like that, I'm going to reach for this palette that I decided to keep. So 3 additional shades are decluttered.